Good morning, Caroline Hugonenc. You're the Global VP Research Insights and Teads. How are you in Toulouse? Not in Cannes this year. I sit in Madrid, you sit in Toulouse. Different to last year.
Yes, unfortunately, I wish we could be back in Cannes.
But we don't have Cannes, but we have the month of creativity by Teads. So it's a very interesting week. It's not the Cannes week, but it's the Teads week. I will tell it the Teads week. What is this? What is this initiative about it? Can you tell us something, Karina, about?
Yes, it's actually more than a week. It's a month of creativity. We want to bring back the spirit, of Cannes in this dark moment that we are in. Because we feel like creativity is going to help us, to find ways to grow amid the crisis. So that's the reason why. I think we need creativity more than ever.
I think so, yes. This is the moment of creativity, yes. In these moments. Do you think creativity has been locked down in the last months? How do you think brands have to do to let it free at this moment?
Yeah, for me, it was really interesting to see the first advertisement at the beginning of the outbreak, where we saw, all those very stereotypical ads looking all the same, with those mood visuals and taglines such as "We are all in this together." It looks like everybody was really using the same playbook, and this is not going to help brands to survive, right, in the moment. So we think that it's really the reason we had those stereotypical ads is because when we are under threat, we tend to be, myopic and insular. We are just, it's like our brains have frozen. It's exactly what happened. So we need to get the creativity out lockdown now.
Yes, and the creativity is also to be more different, I think, because we saw a lot of campaigns very similar, Sometimes all this solidarity, you say, all these kind of campaigns interesting, but I think they have to move also far away from this now, at this moment, to go far.
So the big question is how, right? How you create an ad.
How has COVID influenced on consumers' behavior and priorities? What do you think, Caroline?
So we are very lucky because we just released our Teads Media Barometer, which helped us to understand what users read around the world, on our publishers. So it's 1.5 users around the world for which we know they read. And we can track the evolution of interest by category and countries. And this was very interesting to look at during the COVID. We saw first a huge increase in traffic, and this was driven by a huge increase in health-related content, which was really, really strong, and then it went down. We saw also a big increase in food, which was the second most read category of content. In France, it was the first one at some point, which was really untypical. And it was really reflecting the fact that users were stuck at home and they were, looking for recipes and what to do with this ingredient. So this was really interesting. So we saw those, and we were able to saw those shift in behavior, looking at what users were reading. Now we have seen that in countries that are out of the lockdown, the hierarchy has gone back to what it was for the first three categories, so entertainment, then health and food. But below that, we see some changes in interest. We see, for example, home is growing as a category, tech is growing as well. So there are some interesting changes that might stick.
Let me ask you about the influences. Are any of these influences going to stay or mold consumers somehow?
I would say for some shifts, yes, at least for a while. If you take, for example, the fact that we are staying more at home and we are, more reluctant to go in public spaces. In France, the cinemas are opening today, but I'm sure they're going to be empty for a while, just because we have been inside for so long. We have some form of cabin fever, and we don't feel comfortable to go back in public space and have connection with others. So I think it will stay. And when you ask to consumers what will they sustain in terms of habits, most of them say for those who experience working from home setting, that they would like to work from home, for example, more often than they used to. So the return to home is going to stay, I think, for a while. Mm-hmm. And the fact that we can, reinvent our life from home, ordering food, shopping online, as we said, exercising from home. I know many, consumers that are not going back to their gym because they have found some new ways to exercise from home. So for me, this is one of the biggest shift that is going to stay for a while. And the second one is, as we were saying, the acceleration of digitalization for e-commerce, telemedicine, robotics. Also, at some point, is going to.
How are the changes in consumers' behavior opening new opportunities for companies? You think you are saying here that I think there's some good opportunities if some companies will change and will adapt to this kind of new behavior, no?
Yes, I think it's very interesting to map out, the consequences of all those shifts in behavior and see where we are heading. If you take, for example, the fact that we are staying at home more longer, if you look at the consequences, one of the consequences is that we will stay at home more often. What does it mean? It means that I'm going to buy furniture to have a nice work from home setting. I'm going to paint my office to make it nicer, at home. And on the other side, for office spaces, it's going to have a negative impact, right? But if you look at hotel, I have seen that some hotel recently has launched some offering where they are renting their room for the day for workers that want to have quiet space, to have their meetings. So this is also opening opportunities for hotel, for example. So it's really changing the game, and we need to look at opportunities and how we can leverage them for our clients.
How should brands approach consumers in this new normal epoch? No?
So for us, there are 5 very important steps that brands should take, in order to adapt to this new context. For us, the first thing is to really reassess, all the assumptions they had about their consumers, about how they engage with their consumers, because as we have said, things have changed, and the consumers they knew 3 months ago is not the same, right? So they have to reassess their hypotheses. And then they need to also be able to track the changes in real time, right? Because everything is changing very quickly. When you look at interest for beauty, for example, from month to month, for week to week, from one week to another, we see a lot of shifts, So this is something very important to be able to track where the consumer is heading. And there are a lot of tools that research companies are offering at the moment, or social listening companies that could be interesting to do so. And then once you have a good idea of what is your consumer interest and need in the current time, you can also change a little bit, adapt your marketing personnel to make them more relevant to the consumer as it is right now. So this is the third step. We would say also that it's important to find your own creative voice, and avoid generic messages that we have seen at the beginning of the COVID. And the more relevant are the insights you get, and the more granular are the insights you get, the better you will be in your strategy. So find your own voices, and also your own voice, and then adapt your ad to the mindset of the consumer.
Okay, we'll see. And what's the importance of their content? Everybody speaks about content. Was one of the things we are speaking 2019. Content marketing is so important. What will, in this moment, in this post-COVID moment, what will be the importance? What do you think, Caroline?
Well, content has always been important. It is still important. But what really struck me during the crisis was how media was important, and the role media plays, in the crisis, helping consumers to understand what was going. And I found that really, really interesting to see the role media played in the life of consumers during the crisis. They could, felt connected to their communities, even though they were stuck at home. So for me, I would say the media should be, stronger than it was before, because people really felt the need of trusted publishers and quality journalism during the crisis.
Okay. And my last question to you, Caroline, how are you in Teads helping brands with their message now in these moments, in these difficult times, and with their creativity? What can you do or tell them or make them do it better?
So we have launched a solution to test ads, because we felt that it was missing, the usual fashion coding, for example, methodology that we use normally, not working that well, because people felt very anxious, right? So it was difficult to capture their emotion. So we thought we should, launch creative diagnostic that is really adapted to the context, where we can ask to people, how do you feel about this ad in that moment? Is it relevant to you? Do you think it's mindful of what you are living at the moment? So this is really custom that we have launched, where you can test your ad and then also look at different audiences and contexts to check what is the best environment to deliver your ads on.
Okay, so thank you very much for this interview, for your nice moments, Caroline, and wish you the best for the company, for our brand. We will hope we will do it good and stay healthy.
Thank you very much, Javier.
Okay, thank you very much. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.